Hi guys, you must probably notice that we quite often use different symbols in our jewelry pieces designs, and therefore I decided to speak with you about one of them today. That is going to be Unalone. You must probably have seen it many times in our rings and earrings and necklaces. So today we're going to speak about it in a more detailed way. At the same time, I will be showing you the village where I'm staying at the moment. It is in Thai, so you will enjoy the views instead of my face and listen to the history of this ancient symbol. First of all, let me introduce the settlement, I would say. I don't think that it is a village in full meaning of this word, but that is a quite typical settlement in Thai with someone who we could call the middle class here. So it's not the most poorest of the people who live in Thai, and it's not the most richest of them. What I mean by the middle class here, usually it's a family who managed to buy the house. Of course, they had to take the mortgage for that, but in Thai it's not a big problem because the interest rate is not high. And as you can see, a family usually has got at least one or most often two type of the cars. Here we can see two cars, yep, something like that. Oh, that's my neighbor actually. Yeah, he is a plumber if you're interested in that. So you see, that's quite usual people living here. An interesting detail to pay attention to, you see the fences are very decorative actually, so they're not to protect from the thief to come and take whatever they want, but the thing is that there are no many thieves around, so living here is actually quite safe. That is an interesting house because here the Chinese guys moved in, and they bought this house and they built this tall fence. According to their tradition, maybe they still don't believe that it is safe to stay there, I don't know. But the funny thing that the fence protect the house only from the front, and you can see I can easily probably go from the right and from the left side and get into the house, no questions at all. Well, that's funny. Anyways, so far I have never seen over the last many years something bad happens on the street where I live or in the area where I live. So of course there are the cases, they always are, but not that many to pay attention to. Oh, look here guys, to our topic about the symbolics. That is the lion Singha. That symbol came from Hinduism. And why does it sit in front of the house? It is because the lion Singha is supposed to protect the house from any kind of bad, evil energies or spirits or even bad people. That's why, as you can see, it doesn't look very much welcoming. Oh, and look, over there they have got the spirit's house right in their front yard. That's also a very ancient tradition actually. So, back to our topic about Unalone. We will have to start from the very beginning, and the very beginning was in Africa. Long time ago, the people left Africa, they started to move up north and then further to the east, and therefore they inhabited the Asia, Central and East Asia. Eventually they made their way through Indonesia all the way down to Australia. And how did they look back at the time? I will show you the picture so it would be more clear for you. So according to the anthropologist researchers, people from that epoch, they used to have the curly hairs, they used to have very beautiful big lips, and they were not very much tall. So when they reached India, they settled the state there. Accordingly, there was already the Egypt by the time, and of course there was the Mesopotamia, but that was pretty much it. So our Papuans arranged the new government, as I said, and that was called Mohenjo-daro. It was 100% Papuan civilization, so if you want to read about it a bit more, just Google it, you will find lots of information on this topic. Oh, look what a cute spirit house they have got there. It's actually in the shape of a boat. The photo which you see there, it's Rama the Fifth. Actually, there was the Buddhism branches, the local one, who worship Buddha and Rama the Fifth. It's not illegal, it's totally normal. That's just the way it is. So, Mohenjo-Daro civilization was born in the 33rd century BC. Those guys, they cracked the secret of the fire brick and therefore started to build the things very efficiently and very fast. Yes, look at this one. That is the apartment buildings, and the water pools which are in front of the buildings, they belong to everyone who lives here, so they're absolutely free for them to access. So the guys started to build, as I said. They created many beautiful cities. I forgot to mention, actually, you may also find the information about this if you Google Harappan civilization, because that's another way to call them. Their main city is called Mohenjo-Daro, and you may also encounter very interesting theories about the cities. One of them is very funny, that the civilization was destroyed due to the nuclear war sometime in the ancient epoch. Well, I don't believe that. What is more important to us is that this civilization has achieved the breakthrough in the ritual practices, because there were different kind of rituals performed in different little tribes. After the civilization was formed, they actually united many of them, and they created a lot of symbols which are known around the world till nowadays. For example, this gesture, which we all know, no matter what kind of country we live in or what religion do we belong to, that is the praying gesture which was designed by them. Of course, nowadays different kind of cultures interpret this gesture in different ways. For someone it's a praying gesture, for someone it's a welcoming gesture, for someone it's the symbol of lotus even. But it doesn't matter. This symbol, which is known everywhere by now, has been invented, or at least first encountered in this civilization. Also, assumably, these guys invented yoga or something like that, because in many pictures we can see the shaman or the king maybe sitting in the pose which is now famous as the lotus pose. They also invented some side of the writings. It's not verified whether it was copied and right based on the Sumerians' writings or not, but the fact is that it hasn't been decoded until nowadays. There is a huge amount of different kind of tablets left with the writings on it, but unfortunately, due to the reason mentioned above, nobody knows what exactly does it say. There are 46 versions, if I remember, and none of them agrees with another. They also were supposed to be one of the first people who started to depict their rulers, who were deified later with the horns on their head. The horns were the symbol of the special respect because they were associated with the cow, and the cow were domesticated and became the main source of the food and the clothes and everything. Therefore, the horns, which were an attribute of a cow, attached to the head of the government or to the head priest or just the deified monarch or something like that, were supposed to show the same respectful attitude as to the cow. And it's not funny, actually, back the time it was supposed to be super cool. Again, that kind of symbol, I mean the ruler wearing horns on their head, became very popular among other cultures. Even Yahweh, in some of the versions, were depicted wearing horns. In China, many important rules were supposed to have horns on their head, like Shen Nun, for example, who is supposed to be one of the first deity who had provided the humanity with the farming tools. Well, I could count that like forever. We will be able to find the same symbol, the horns on the head of the respected leader or deity or a chief or a priest, in many variations. Also, these people, they invented Shiva, the black god. All the other gods were invented a bit later, and they were white. Why it happened so, I will tell a bit later. And of course, in that culture where they were worshipping many powerful animals, they were worshipping the snakes as well. There was the snake queen. Against your expectations, she was actually a positive character. The snakes were actually holding the very special place in many ancient cultures, and especially paganistic cults. And my personal assumption, I'm not saying that's the scientific theory, just my personal assumption, it was kind of logical because the snake is a weird animal. All the other animals kill by force. You can see their fangs, you can see that they're very fast. You know how do they kill you. The snake just bites you, leave little two holes, and you die. That's a weird way to die in the ancient world where you can't see the reason for that. So probably for this feature, the snakes were supposed to have the special majestic powers. Oh, and I almost forgot. Um, the Harappan civilization were supposed also the first one who invented the cult of the body cleanliness and purity. In their remains, we can find these places which were specially designed to allow a lot amount of people to wash their body all together at the same time. There were something what is supposed to be the reservoir for water, and by all signs it was something like the ancient bathhouses which never existed in other places before. What else? Let me think. Yes, they actually also invented the gods with many faces. That also was their feature. Unfortunately, this beautiful and very rich culture had killed themselves. How did it happen? They were building a lot, as I said, and they were building using the fire bricks. But for the fire bricks, you have to get the firewood. And to get the firewood, you have to go to the forest and chop it off. And what happens when you chop off the forest around you? Eventually, you don't have any forest around you left. And when there is no forest around you, the soil erosion starts to happen. And when the soil erosion starts to happen, the dust and soil goes directly into the rivers. And then the river become very small and not suitable for farming, or even just for providing some fish and clean water for you to drink. And that happened by 1300 year BC. As you can see on the map, one of the rivers just disappeared. You can see it on the map. It is depicted with a dotted line. And the other one became so small that they couldn't use it anymore. So on top of the little ecological catastrophe, the Aryans came from the north and conquered them, which wasn't difficult, taking into consideration that the country was at its lowest by the time. The Aryans who came there, they established the caste system, of course. They introduced the white skin cult and many other features, and eventually the Indo-Aryan civilization was formed. What happens next, actually? The Indo-Aryan civilization started to spread its influence all the way to the east and to the south and a little bit to the north even. First of all, with the help of the trade. So when the tradesmen made the first roads, they started to work like a channel, actually. The channel for cross-cultural communication and cultural exchange. However, as Indo-Aryans were very much developed in their skills and their knowledge, they mostly were bringing their own influence to the regions farther to the East Asia. So eventually we end up with a whole huge part of the world speaking the same language or similar languages, using the same writing system, building similar constructions, using the same cultural code. Look at the famous Angkor Wat, for example. 100% copy of Indian style. Nevertheless, why I am telling you all of that now? The thing is that together with other cultural features, the cult of worshipping the snake was brought to Thailand as well. And not only to Thailand, actually. What happens next? In the 4th century AC this time, the new tribes come into the territory of the modern Thailand down the Mekong River. And that's going to be exactly those tribes who would form the modern Thai nation. And that is actually quite interesting, that the Thai nation wasn't formed by the local tribes. It's actually were tribes which were traveling down from the southern provinces of China. Well, of course, back at the time there were no provinces yet, but nevertheless. What is important in all this story for us is that tribes, they were traveling and moving across the lands with the help of the rivers. They were using them as the roads, actually. Therefore, their main transport was a boat. You can see now in the picture that is a typical boat which is suitable not for the traveling in the ocean waters, only on the rivers, because it's too long, it's too narrow, it would not survive in the open water at all. So these water nomadic tribes, they depended on rivers, therefore their main worshipping creature was a very scary actually fish, which is a giant oarfish. As you can see, even in the 23rd century, that thing looks pretty much scary. That is the carnivorous fish. It has got very sharp and big teeth. It has got huge, long, snake-like body. It looks absolutely formidable, almost like the sea god or godlike creature, I don't know. So people found nothing better than just to start worshipping that creature. So now follow my idea. There is the Thai tribe who is worshipping, or basically Thai tribes who are worshipping this river water monster which looks like a snake. Then we have got the Aryans coming to the territory, and they are bringing with them the cult of a snake. What do the local people do? It's not very much good looking thing to left your own deity behind, but if you put pictures of their long-tailed fish on the right and the picture of the god snake on the left, they look pretty much similar. Both of them are long, slim, and scary. So they decided that these two guys are pretty much one and the same, just under different names. And that's how the new creature or the new god was born, which is called Naga. And then the funny story begins. Because Naga, which as we know now is the result of the marriage between the snake symbol, which is coming from Aryans, and the oarfish deified symbol, which is typical for Thai, travels back to India and substitutes the snake image with itself. So it becomes one of the most important symbols in Hinduism, and therefore later on it will be one of the most powerful symbols in Buddhism as well. Look, remember these little whiskers on the head of the oarfish, which it uses to hunt the prey in the dark water? I think that eventually, because it wasn't very much convenient to make the statue with many thin whiskers, it just was combined into one thick horn. At the same time, the snake left for this new combined image its teeth, because the fish never could have that many dragon-like teeth. Naga has. So in that snake queen now became Naga snake queen, and that Naga snake queen reportedly came to save Buddha from the wild animals at some point. So Naga became also the symbol which protects you from the bad things. Therefore, nowadays, whenever you go to the Thai temple, you will see this Naga sitting in front of it and protecting the temple from the bad spirits. It looks scary, it looks formidable, that's how it's designed to look, in order to protect the temple and the people in it from the bad spirits. Besides the idea of the protection, this Naga snake has got the horn, which is called Unalone. And It is supposed to be the symbol of the help in obtaining the enlightenment, because Naga helped Buddha to reach enlightenment, saving him. Therefore, the horn on her head is a symbol of escaping the danger and getting to the enlightenment stage. A bit later, it became the symbol of improvement in general, like everything good what Buddhism can give you is supposed to be associated with Unalone symbol. Actually, we can tell that even before the wide application of the symbol in Buddhism, I mean, during the periods when the snake and the oarfish became one and became Naga with a horn on its head, it was a very popular necklace or an amulet. In that case, the amulet would be made by shaman. These people were specifically trained in creating the special protective or facilitating symbolic items, or not only items actually, because there is another culture in Thailand and East Asia, which is the sacred tattoo. And in all of these tattoo, you will be able to find Unalone symbol as well. That is an inevitable part of it. The tattoo in that case is not just a pretty picture, it's actually a special text or a mantra which is designed to help the specific person to overcome their difficulties. For example, if you consider yourself pathologically unlucky, or you have got untreated diseases or something like that, or you're just unhappy with your income, or you can't find the love of your life, it is supposed to be helpful to get the tattoo, which would facilitate you in solving the problem. Even Angelina Jolie, as they say, have got the tattoo, the very strong one and powerful one actually, to become famous and get what she wanted in the world of Hollywood. So to sum up, Unalone is a very ancient symbol which appeared as the result of the symbiosis between two different cultures. One was coming all the way from Mohenjo-Daro and then through the Aryan civilization, and the other one was coming from the river nomadic tribes, which became the basement for the modern Thai nation. The symbol Unalone is actually the horn on the head of the Naga sacred snake, which is something in between of the snake queen from Arya and Mohenjo-Daro civilization and the sacred oarfish, which the ancient Thai people used to worship. It is widely used in Buddhism, of course, and it symbolizes the development, the growth, the improvement in every way. And as I can see by the orders from you guys, you also agree with my idea that having a jewelry piece with a little bit of meaning is much more fun and interesting than just have a beautiful jewelry piece. Therefore, Unalone is present in many designs by us. That's why if you already have got it, or if you're thinking about buying one of those, it's good for you to know its history, I guess. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed our little walk with a little bit of historical excurse. See you next time and have a good one. Bye.